When someone asks you a question, particularly a grower, does it just excite you when they actually mention an example or solution of a problem that you solved for another grower? Hi, I'm Laura Southerly with Activation, and here on another episode of Harvesting Growth, I'm with my dear friend Brad Kilgore, and we're going to be talking about commodity context versus non-commodity context today, as well as some additional changes with Google and Gemini and AI mode. Brad, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Laura. Always good to see you and learn new stuff. So let's unpack what you got. This is awesome.
Yes, thank you. I'm just very excited because as I've been meeting with different clients, it's been more and more exciting to hear them say that, remember that example I provided you and we were able to put it online, or they went ahead and put, whether it be a testimonial, a case study, or hey, we installed this product and it solved this grower's problem. They stood out online. The biggest thing we're seeing as AI has made things easier for people to put content out there, what we're seeing is that it's all the same. And when it comes to researching the facts behind products, the research behind products, yes, that does matter. But people are doing the exact same thing as any dealership down the road. So in order to get your dealership, especially your precision ag dealership or your ag equipment dealership to stand out, is to tell what your particular location or your team or you, how you solved a grower's problem, how you were able to resolve an issue, how you were able to provide them a service on their farm, something that really is unique to your dealerships. That's what AI cannot duplicate whatsoever. Yes, as we said, bring in the facts, bring in the research, bring in the product specs. Growers will be researching and looking for that. But as you're able to say, product A was able to solve this and actually be a solution because of X, Y, and Z, that is non commodity information. And have you been seeing more and more of that, Brad?
I believe so. I think it goes back to the old story of, your customers are saying, "What have you done for me lately?" And so if you can, solve a problem for them, show them, like you just said, how we solve this doing this with this, that's what they're looking for.
Yes, I know it was very popular before when people were, wasn't dealerships or businesses were not putting much information online. It was very popular and very successful to put the top five fixes for this particular year, or do this top 10 list, or three things never to do in your dealership if you're trying to market. Those lists, very, very popular, gave different small businesses an opportunity to download their checklist and kind of go through. But now, again, now that AI is making it easier for dealerships to put the exact same information out there, again, very important information. They need those specs, they need those facts about the equipment and how it works together. But if you're able to tell that story, it does have each dealership stand out in a very unique way. And the growers will hear that, they will see it, and they'll relate. And therefore, they're going to come to you and say, hey, you helped Stan. How can you help me with this exact same scenario?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think that you just hit the nail right on the head.
And so when we are now working through websites and looking at digital footprints for the dealerships who are contacting us, that's one thing that we do look and see if the solution area is there. And then the other thing that we'll demonstrate today, again, we've talked about it before on episodes, the AI summary. So you might say, well, what's really the big deal? They're going to come to my website, they're going to see the specs, and then they're going to call us. Well, what the big deal is the AI summary. So let me go ahead and just share my screen.
Sounds good. Let's take a look.
So I just dropped in here. You can
Just
let me
now
know when you can
coming
see
up.
me.
There we go.
Okay, perfect. When you or one of your growers may be searching for, say, auto steer for tractor, that would be very typical. You may feel that, hey, my growers, they're not really using AI yet. That may be the case, but that's not saying that Google isn't showing them the AI answers. So when they would type in something as simple as auto steer for tractor, they not only get an overview here, so they might get something that's sponsored up at the top, but when we get into the AI overview, AI is providing an answer they feel they might be interested in. And so you can take a look at this and go, okay, I now see, but don't worry, they're going to scroll right past all that. Well, they may, but they're going to have to do a lot of scrolling, I should say. And then they'll get down to their traditional information, YouTube videos, the such. Over here to the side,
Hold on, I think maybe you just shared the tab.
oops. No, I was trying to show let me just hit refresh here because is it going to, it's not pulling in what it traditionally would. I've got an AI thing that is popping up for me. But anyway, you may be getting some more information over to the side. But if we go back up to the top and now click AI mode, this is where you will actually get more in depth when it starts to really pull through and you want to be pulled through as an answer, as a provider, as the dealership to get more information. Over to the side, you can see that there's videos that now come up. At different times, you'll see Reddit articles come up. Facebook is coming up. So all of this is starting to play a part. So when we think, oh, my dealers, they're not on Facebook, or excuse me, my growers, they're not on Facebook, the answers that are being provided to them may be pulled from Facebook, YouTube, Reddit, LinkedIn. So again, know where they're getting your information. But you can see how the AI mode in Google is definitely different and starting to play a part.
You see how
So,
it, as you scroll up just a little bit, Laura, you see how it's pulling in the sources, like right there on hydraulic retrofit. Stop scrolling right
mhm,
there. Yep. See how when you put your mouse over that, it pulls up even more info.
it does. And this is very valuable because, again, there was a time when AI would really hallucinate. It would act like a toddler that was insistent that it was telling you the truth. I think we've all had 3 and 4 year olds that insisted that they knew the truth. If you now that they're really working to provide those resources, those references that you can click through, verify it is a source that is worthy of your attention. So definitely you can click through, find out any additional information. That is always helpful to make sure it's accurate.
That's exactly right. And what's funny to me is I had 14 and 15-year-old girls insistent that what they were saying was right.
Oh, I'm sure your daughters were always right.
That's right.
Nope, that is a that's a commonplace, I think, in everybody's household, girls or boys.
That's right.
But anyway, this is kind of things like when we're talking about key solutions. So think about, are they asking you about retrofit? Are they talking about hydraulic? You can go ahead and see how you would answer these questions and then add that to your digital footprint. Update your website or do a social post or answer this in your FAQ section about, okay, if you are looking for an electric motor retrofit, are you looking for a hydraulic retrofit? That all it matters. Then if you click over to Google Gemini, and again, we're just giving the information here of these two today. You can try it with Grok, Perplexity, ChatGPT, any of them to see how it comes up, but you want to see how it's starting to play a part. So if we go ahead and just, although we would say not to use AI as a search, if you are just seeing how your growers might be typing in the very basic information, such as auto steer, tractor, then this is how it would go into a little bit more detail here regarding the tech stack.
I
As
like
you
how you
know, go
I
ahead.
like how you can ask anything too. You can talk to it. So down below.
Absolutely. Yes. So if you go ahead and there's different modes here, if you have your tractor, if you have your monitor, if you have photos of a setup that you have, add it. You can always, click here to upload the files, pull it in. The tools you can consider if you
I,
need to do deep research, you
I
can
don't
change it
think you're
there.
sharing that particular tab, Laura.
I am not. Okay,
No,
let's
you're
see
still in the
here.
AI
Oops.
mode, not Gemini.
There we go.
There you go.
So now that we're in Gemini mode, let me go ahead and scroll back up to just explain here. If you come in and you would just ask about the tractor auto steer again,
Right.
it goes into a lot more detail.
Oh, I
And this again is using AI for a start. But again, as your growers get more and more used to using Gemini differently than they would use a Google search, any of the AI tools, they can actually have that conversation with and go deeper. So what I had clicked was the plus sign down here in the bottom where if you are looking for a particular part, if you have a particular planter, a particular tractor, you want to see what you could upgrade. If you add photos and files of your current setup, it will actually start putting things together. Think how powerful this is for your grower to be able to call you going, I know what will work already with my toolbar. That is extremely it's a buyer ready to purchase because they're focused. They've already done some research. So be excited about this. It did not take them away from your dealership. The cool thing is you want your dealership information in here so that you could be the source for them to call. The other thing too is if you change the different modes, you can turn from fast to pro, deep thinking, whatever you might with that. But if you click your little speaker button, you can say anything regarding I have this particular tractor. I want to include this auto steer package. These are the acres I'm going to be running, and start really providing that specific information. And then it's going to provide you options. And that is extremely powerful. Like I said, it streamlines those conversations because whoever calls you from there, they are a very interested buyer.
Yep, that's exactly right. In fact, if you scroll up just a little bit, Laura, there's Gemini's been adding so many new features. Right there, stop. Uh, Go down just a little bit. Right there, export to sheets. This is a new feature because you got to remember, Google/Gemini owns Sheets, Docs, Drive, Slides. All the different elements of the Google ecosphere, and they're just baking more and more of it right in.
Yes, they are. So that allows you to open it as sheets. You're able to print it off. You're able to take it to the dealership. So all of a sudden, we have a lot more information of what the level is, the accuracy, and what it's best for. This is, and again, we didn't offer anything additional. You can say, tell me more about the Ag Leader auto steer. Tell me more about this particular auto steer versus that one. It will give you the pros and cons versus you going and pulling spec sheets individually. It'll do the pros and cons and the comparison for you. So I'm glad that whoops, let's share this tab instead so you
Yeah,
can see what I was mentioning
yeah.
regarding how it pulls it in. So
And you
very,
can
very powerful.
talk to the sheet too. Go ahead.
Yes. Yes, you can. Let's see here. If we go back, I mean,
I'm blown away at how this how this puts this all together, just like a click of a button.
yes. But could you imagine if you were going in and it can be daunting, not daunting, it could be time consuming. I'm going to go ahead and unshare. It can be very time consuming to, if I was going to call a dealership and say, I have a X number row planter, and to explain to them of what year, what kind of monitor I have, what kind of hydraulics I have, what kind of horsepower, what is it used for, what it isn't using for, am I planting this particular crop versus that crop, what would be my end goal? To have that conversation outright with AI before gets you so much closer to answers that when I would call that dealership, I would be able to say, this is what I imagine. And then the dealership, because you guys are experts, will be able to say, this is what we've seen work before. Or actually, let's configure it a little bit this way because they, meaning you, the dealership, know the soil in the area, you know those growers, you know this weather pattern changes all the time. So you are the expert in charge, but a lot of those first basic questions have been already answered, or it got the grower thinking in advance what information you would need to know in order to lay out the solution. And again, those are the elements, those are the non commodity content elements that will make you stand out online, that other dealerships, they could be your best friend dealerships down the road, across the country, wherever, they cannot match you and your level of expertise for your area and what you provide your growers. So each of you guys will all stand individually on your own as experts. That's what sets you apart.
I really liked how when you were showcasing the sources of how important it is to do social media, to do YouTube, all these different things, and be the expert when you do, because now those social signals are amplified way more than they used to be, and it's really cool. I really like.
It is. And I know a few episodes ago, we talked about staying authentic, using AI as a tool. But to your point about your social media or your YouTube, grab your phone, take that short video clip. It does not have to be perfect. It's authentic. It shows what you upgraded, how you installed a piece of equipment, how you installed the auto steer. Then the grower knows what to expect. How much is their downtime? Is it something that you can show up the same day and install? Or is it something you have to have it taken to their shop to install? So all these pieces start working together. AI, again, gets you there faster, but make it your own. Put your information, how you solve problems, how you answer questions. Your growers will appreciate that information. Brad, I think we covered a lot today. The episode went extremely fast. Anything else that you want to add?
You nailed it. I mean, I'm just excited of how fast it's changing and how we can show, the business owners how to leverage these things because, again, showcasing their expertise of making it valuable to their clients who can now find this very easily in Google search.
Yes, very, very true. So, for our listeners and our viewers, we thank you for joining us for Harvesting Growth. Brad, thank you again for joining me this week. I'm Laura, and as we say, get out there and play in that soil.